Hello mga kaganap, welcome back to our show. And syempre, isa na namang napakagandang episode ang handog namin sa inyo dahil isa magandang binibini ang aming guest. Right, John?
Oo, bench. At siya ay napakagandang dilan. At alam ko na excited ang ating mga viewers ngayon na makita siya dahil first time na maka-interview tayo from Miss Universe Philippines.
Philippines.
So excited kami dito at makilala siyang lupus.
Correct. And for sure, makaka-relate dyan ang ating kaganap host.
Ayan, of course, no, mga kaganap John and Bench. And hello to everyone. You will really be amazed by this young woman, no? Kasi ako, talagang I can see, aside from being very beautiful, she's also very intelligent. And alam mo yung, di ba mga kaganap, yung pag may kausap ka na, nararamdaman mo yung heart niya.
Our guest for today is an official representative of Muntinlupa City for Miss Universe Philippines 2020. She is going to be a doctor. She is an athlete and an advocate for adoption angels to address the 2 million abandoned children in the Philippines and conservation to protect our coral reefs. She graduated at Northwest University with BS Biology and minor in Environmental Science. Currently, she is working as a paralegal at the law firm of Ligaspi Cabugao and Associates. Mga kaganap, representing the city of Muntinlupa in Miss Universe Philippines 2020, Miss Maricres Castro. Hello, Maricres.
Hi, Maricres.
Welcome.
Welcome to Ganap TV.
Welcome to Ganap TV.
Thank you for having me, Sir John. It's such an honor to be here today and to be live with all of you. Maraming salamat po.
Ayan, so
And
first of
malagayang
all,
panonood.
can you greet our viewers?
Hi everyone, and welcome to Ganap TV. Thank you for tuning in today, and it's nice to see you here.
Grabe, bench. Napakahinhin niya.
Super pretty.
Babaeng Pilipina.
Yeah.
Talaga.
And I love her color. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Pero I want to ask her, talaga ba siya yung Pilipina?
Yes.
Diba? Kasi may
Kasi
mga, parang may accent.
Kasi parang nosebleed tayo ngayon.
Oo. Baka man-nosebleed na naman tayo rito.
Correct. Can you tell us, so, para malaman natin, so, can you tell us something about you, Maricres?
Yeah.
Sure, especially regarding my accent. Kasi I was actually born and raised in Seattle, Washington, from where all the Starbucks coffee comes from. Pero both my parents are Filipino. My mother is a proud Kapampangan, and my father is from Bicol and of the Agda Tabangnon tribe. Sorsogon, Pilar Sorsogon.
Oo. Kababayan.
Mga taga Bicol. Do you speak the language of Bicolanos?
Konti lang po. Orago na lang.
Okay.
Ang cute.
Oragon
Sige.
daw, bench.
Oragon.
Ikaw na lang.
So,
Ikaw,
ano
di ba,
na lang?
Ano ibig sabihin ng
So, ako
Oragon?
na lang. So, ako na lang babati sa ating mga kababayan. Kasi, mga kaganap, kababayan ko pala si Maricres. Same, ano ba siya tawag doon? Same, ano talaga?
Bayan.
Bayan.
Municipality.
Municipality, oo. So, sa aming mga Diyos Marhay na banggi sa Indugabo, sa aming mga kababayan dyan sa Pilar Sorsogon. So, enjoy watching this episode with our kababayan, si Miss Maricres Castro. Pero nakakaintindi ka, Maricres, ng like Bicol and Tagalog? Konti lang.
Konti lang po, yes. I'm still
Sabi ko na nga
practicing.
sa'yo, nosebleed tayo rito eh.
Oo.
Pero,
Diba, we will try our best. Yeah. Try our best to speak in dollars.
Wow!
Okay, Maricres.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long have you been here in the Philippines?
First straight, about 3 years after moving back from Africa. I lived in Zambia for 2 years as a U.S. Peace Corps health volunteer, serving along the Kaonde tribe. So I actually speak a fluent African language called
Oh,
Kikaonde
really?
because of my work
Wow.
there. Yes,
So
Oh,
you can you greet also our Kaganap with the
of
African
African
language?
course.
language.
Sure.
Yes.
Mhm.
But you
Um,
cannot speak the Bicolanos language.
You should learn.
so,
Okay.
Okay.
so you would say like if this was the evening, I would say Mwasabenzay Mwane. And that means no, it's Kimabanga Mwane. Kimabanga Mwane. Banga means gabi in Kikonde. And then if it was sa umaga, you would say buka or mwa buka biepi. So that means how have you awakened? Ayan.
Oh,
And
oh, I can
That's so
speak that
cute.
way. Guwapo ka raw, bench. Guwapo, bench.
Salamat.
No, parang hindi ko natin.
classic, I love it.
Siyempre, no? Maganda si Maricres. Mga uragon talaga, di ba? Uragon. Oo.
Yes, and
Actually, we
it's
have
no
we have
wonder.
viewers in Nigeria
Mhm.
because
In
Wow,
we
Africa,
already
yeah.
guested some
that's amazing.
people
We have a
from
lot.
Nigeria.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hello.
And
I've
then
never been to
we
Nigeria,
have a lot of
but
viewers from Pilar. Yeah.
Yes,
wow.
yes, yes.
Yeah, and
Supporters in Bicol.
Oo. Oo.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
And
so
Oragon just means, a very strong, very fortuitous woman, and she's very charismatic.
yeah.
Parang ganun.
So I have a question, Maricres. Have you ever been to Pilar?
Yes, several times, even when I was, I was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my first time going to the Philippines. When we landed in Sorsogon, oh my gosh, that's my first time to see the jungle like that. Because in Washington, we have forests that are like evergreen trees. But parang ibang level ang jungle forest. They're so magnificent. Super maganda dito sa Pilipinas. It's really
So if you
See,
bring us to Sorsogon, what do you think you can
see.
show to us there?
Uy, marami! Oh my gosh! We have the Mount Mayon volcano. We can go quad core racing. Loko with the quad vehicles around the Mayon. Ang ganda naman po kasi it's so scenic with the jungle landscape. And then
Mhm.
if you know the whale sharks, kasi I'm all about conservation. Even my
Hindi.
earrings are
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
philosophy,
Oo.
like conservation.
I love your
And
earring.
we're
It's
a
in
mask.
Dunsol, yeah. It's in Dunsol,
Yeah.
di ba? Parang neighbor lang natin sila. Mhm.
Yeah, so
Ah,
Donzol's in Sorsogon, and it's a more eco-friendly and sustainable to visit the whale sharks. So, kasi not to say anything bad about another place that, they feed the whale sharks so that they keep coming back regularly, that actually disrupts their migration patterns, where
Mhm.
I
whale
know
sharks
that.
that are supposed to, yeah, move around. It helps with the sea creatures. They contribute a lot to the environment. By staying there, it's disrupting that chain. And so sa Dunzol, it's more it's more ethical, I guess you could say,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's more parang environmentally friendly din.
Mm.
So, ang lakas naman ang Sorsogon po. It's so wonderful. I'd love to take you around. Yeah,
Wow.
and show
So
you.
we're
Yeah,
excited.
We
We're
should go
excited.
there.
We will go with you. We'll ride in Victory Liner.
Victory Liner.
Yes.
One of our
I love
Yes.
riding
sponsors.
Victory Liner. Yeah,
Maricres will ride with us. Maricres will ride with us
Oo.
in going
game.
to
Yeah,
So we'll just take public vehicle. So it will be
vehicle.
nice and
It's
fun.
nice. It's air conditioned. It's a duplex. It's so nice. I actually have taken Victory Liner to Sorsogon before, even
Mhm.
with my grandparents, the ones who built the first hospital in Pilar, Sorsogon.
Chris.
Okay.
You're a family of doctors, Maricres.
Yes, doctors and lawyers. It's really ironic, but
Wow.
my younger brother and my older brother are engineers. They're software engineers. And then my older sister, she's in the marketing. So,
Mhm.
and my dad was kind of the black sheep of the family. He was a dentist. Everyone was kind of like an oncologist or internal medicine or law. So
Mhm.
it's really funny. My grandmother actually graduated from UST, and her
Mhm.
husband, my grandpa, was a student of law at UP. They both, after uh, after my grandmother graduated,
Mhm.
immigrated with her to the US to practice medicine and law. And that's why, nako, nandyan na lang ako. But she never forgot where she came from. And her mother, who without even, ano ko po, even without a third grade education, she could only like write her name,
Mhm.
and could barely read and write. It's really a miracle. She was still a savvy businesswoman and was able to pay for her daughter and her son to go to medical school to become the first doctors out of Sorsogon. And
Wow.
that's
That's
the
amazing.
that's her pride talaga. um, and it's really a beautiful thing po kasi my first time going to the Philippines, I was actually nakaka-shock ako kasi I'm very sheltered compared to living here kasi there's a lot of um what do you call it? There's a lot of abandoned children here.
Children.
Kasi in the streets, I was only 10 years old, and it was my first time seeing a little baby or a little 2-year-old, walang kasama, walang nanay or tatay,
Mhm.
and they're knocking on your window. Ano ko? I said, Papa, let them in the car. They're lost. Yung feeling ko, that's how I felt. And so it was just like very shocking to me. And this is kind of a funny story at the end, but my my dad gave me an allowance when I was 10 years old and living here because we would go back to the States, go to the Philippines, back to the
Mhm.
States. And I just remember looking at that money. It was 1,000 pesos. Nako, lucky naman. I was like, this is a lot of money. And then I would look at that child and parang a 5-year-old child, what are they gonna do with this money? Kasi
Mhm.
it's gonna be gone in a day or a few weeks. Parang they need someone to care for them, like an adult, a mother, a father. They need your whole life,
Mhm.
basically, to raise a child. And so, naku po, at 10 years old, I actually decided, oh, I'm going to become a doctor and a nun, and I'm going to open up my own orphanage, and I'm gonna take care of all these kids. And
Uh-huh.
when my grandmother built the school and the hospital in Pilar, I was like, I'm gonna make it here because I'm watching her, building. Not she wasn't physically the one who built it, but like she was the one who financed everything and had that vision. So parang I felt like the Lord was.
That will be your advocacy in Miss Universe Philippines.
Yes, is abandoned children. Kasi po, we actually have over 2 million 2 million abandoned children. And we're
Mhm.
actually leading in the world for human trafficking of children, sex trafficking of children, because walang kasama, walang anything. So
Mhm.
it's just very heartbreaking. And according to UNICEF, 97 children die a day in the Philippines from
In the
malnutrition.
Philippines.
July is Nutritional Awareness Month kasi
Yeah,
it's so
oo.
important to take your child to the clinic to get weighed for malnutrition with the MOAC tape. It's actually what I used to do in Africa for two
Mhm.
years was working in the clinic, using my degree to help people, educate people about HIV, family
Mhm.
planning, safe pregnancy, and all the women in my village, they would always tease me when I would teach about like proper breastfeeding and things like that after giving birth. They're like, "Oh, why don't you show us? Where's your baby?" I'm like, "I don't have one, okay? I just know. I just know how to do
Where did
it."
you learn?
Yeah,
What's
demo.
so funny? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, is that they actually had me have the honor. One of my best friends, she had me have the honor of naming one of her firstborn children. One of her firstborn son. So after 5 girls, Mrs. Yotam asked me, along with her husband, to name their firstborn son, and I was crying because I'm like, I don't I don't deserve this honor. I've never even had a baby, let alone name a baby. So are you sure? And so
So what did you name the baby?
I named the baby Kindness because yeah, I wanted it to be reflective of the culture. So the culture they usually name kids like purity or resilience or that's
Mm.
just part of their culture and it
That's so cute.
tradition. And I wanted to also. My dad was like, "Why didn't you name him after me?" And it's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like uh, I've actually served internationally before being in Zambia,
Yeah.
and so I
Oh.
served in Nepal, in a disaster zone in a refugee camp. Where people have lost everything. In 2015, the earthquake struck and it killed 8,900 people,
Mm,
just like
yeah.
that. And there were aftershocks that were even just as big as the earthquake itself. So the
Mhm.
people are just, they're shaking, they're traumatized, and after just graduating college, feeling God called me to go there to serve as part of disaster relief medical team. It
Mhm.
was like, wow, even though I did not feel qualified. I was just there as basically assistant. So I was trained in basic wound care repair, and
Mhm.
I was trained to be able to, assist with triage for the masses that we had of people seeking help. Because they basically needed us to carry medicine up the mountain because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
roads were just
Mm.
destroyed. So if you can imagine me without makeup but full of sweat and like it's like this really hard. and, um,
So,
and
yeah. So, Maricris, why you are not representing like Sorsogon? So you are now representing Muntinlupa City, right?
Muntinlupa.
So,
it was already taken. Actually, it was already taken. So
oh, I
Sorsogon's being
see.
represented already, and I am so proud of the representative. We're actually friends, so
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. Oh, I support Sorsogon still, and but I
Yeah.
won runner-up for Miss School of the Philippines. I represented Pilar Sorsogon, so
Oh,
I
really?
raised our
When
flag.
was that? When was that?
It was last year actually.
Last
They're
year.
as a runner-up, they're allowing me to compete in a national pageant. So I'm grateful to Miss Cindy for the opportunity, and it's yeah, it's really a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I'm
Yeah.
very Mhm.
Okay, Marie Chris, since you are representing Muntinlupa, so tell us about Muntinlupa.
Absolutely. Other than Believe It
Yeah.
Prison, I would love to tell you about Jamboree Lake outside of Believe It Prison. That is the smallest man-made lake in the world, actually.
Oh,
So
really?
it's yes, yes. So it's
Yeah,
quite
I've been there.
phenomenal in
I've
its
been there.
own
We had
way.
a tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
What? Ako din,
Uh,
Yeah,
I've been there for a tutorial too.
yeah.
Yay!
uh,
And,
Okay, let's all go there for a pictorial.
oh, sige. Let's go.
Let's go there.
I haven't gone there. Yeah.
Yeah. So what
Actually,
else? What else can we still find in Muntinlupa?
Muntinlupa, yeah.
absolutely. So I actually would love to show you my heart there. So I've actually been volunteering as a tutor for 3 years at the Tuloy Foundation, which is a home for rescued street children and indigenous and underprivileged children. And so I just want to share a quick story about one of the little girls I tutor there. I taught her how to read and write. And not only can she read and write now, she's actually acting in the school plays. And so every time I see her go on screen, I'm not, on stage, it just, I'm not a mother yet, but it makes you feel so proud to see. I only tutor there Monday night for 1 hour a week. And but you can really make a difference in these kids' lives, and they can really achieve anything. One of my friends who graduated from our program there, she's actually a chef in New York City right now, and some of our students have even become national football players for the Ascals, and have become ballet artists, ballet
Mhm.
artists in Germany. Like you wouldn't imagine. It's really difficult for our little ballet stars because of the height difference, but they're trained, they're skilled, and through the Toloy Foundation, we provide every child,
Mhm.
whatever background you're from, that we
Grabe,
remind you
ano.
that you're a child of God
Mhm.
and you have limitless potential. So I
Yeah.
really love it for that
Oo.
reason.
Ayun,
So I'll
Jo,
show you there, of
yeah.
course.
Parang mapansin mo, parang puro siya volunteer, no? Parang nagvo-volunteer siya sa ibang
Exactly.
I think she's a
organization.
woman of advocacy.
Yes, oo.
Yes.
And she's really the woman who really called that, who made her voice heard, not just
Oo.
being heard, but she also do what she speak, right? So that's
Kasi
so
parang,
important.
oo, kasi parang yung iba, parang they're doing this advocacy because they're joining the pageant or,
Pageant.
yeah.
Yeah.
But based on her story, parang she's doing this for a very long time. You mentioned that your father or grandfather built the first hospital.
Hospital.
Yes,
Grandmother.
my grandmother. My grandmother
Grandmother,
did.
yeah.
Yes.
So how's it right now? Is it still operating?
So, for my understanding, we're actually transitioning into
Mhm.
allowing for the government to take it over to help with running the operations. So,
Oh,
the
okay.
foundation is still functioning to be
Mhm.
able to provide schooling and medical services right now, but we're in a transitionary period. And
So it's gonna
it's
be
still
so
really
it's
cool.
gonna be
It's
owned
still
by
open.
is it gonna be co-owned by the government? Is that what you mean?
Yes, we're working on it towards being, in closer partnership with the government. Because my grandma, she's getting old. She's
Okay.
90.
Mhm.
She's 96. Oh, my grandma on my mom's side's 96. My
Oh
grandma
my
today,
God.
my dad's side is
Wow.
Mhm.
93. So she's turning 94. And
Mhm.
I just want to give you an idea for when we do take the bus. My grandmother at 90 years old and 91 years old with my grandpa who's also 91 and 92. They're the same age right now. Back then they would take the night bus
Uh-huh.
going to Pilar, and then in the morning they would service the community through a clinic in the hospital because my grandmother's a retired doctor. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the afternoon, they attended a ceremony for the kids graduating from her school. So,
Wow.
whenever I hang out with my grandma, I always feel like, oh man, I'm not doing enough with my energy because you can do this at your
Yeah.
age. Like, there's no Aragon. That's what it is.
The
You know,
real,
Maricruz,
Exactly. There's no excuse
yeah,
for you
oo,
not
yeah,
to do anything because your grandparents is doing a lot of things.
things, oo, for the
correct.
community. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a
grabe.
Maricruz,
shy.
say, Maricruz, would you say that your grandparents are your inspired you and got you
Mhm.
doing all this voluntary work?
Yes, absolutely, because it's really my grandparents. Our family is a medical missionary family. Even though we're working, we're all professionals. We always
Mhm.
make time to give back and to give selflessly. And that's been my upbringing growing up. You always make time for what God has called you to do. So it's just, what they taught me from a young age. And I'm grateful. Yeah. So
I think si John has a challenge for you today, Mary Chris. Are
Yeah,
you
we
up
have
to
a
it?
challenge for you.
Inano mo
I
agad?
am game for
Hiningit mo
any
na
challenge.
agad?
Okay.
Yes, we
Okay,
usually do
please.
this challenge for all the beauty pageant
Candidates.
candidates.
Mm,
We give them challenges. We ask them questions from the past pageants that we had,
Pageants.
Pageant.
just to
Mm.
give you some cheese to what you are going to go through. So at least you're going to exercise.
Yes. But I'm sure you
Yeah.
will nail it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
For
so let's
sure.
Okay.
start our
Let's
challenge
start the
for
challenge.
today.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So you can pick,
put
Mary Chris. Who do you want to be the
The
one
first one
asking
to
the first
ask.
question?
Mhm.
All right. Miss Joe, please ask me a question.
Okay, so my question for you, I have two questions for you. The first one would be, why is it, aside from the things that you mentioned earlier, why is this your chosen advocacy? Is it something, or is there someone special in your life who experienced these things, and that's why you are so you feel strongly about this advocacy?
Absolutely. I think it's just from my upbringing because, I actually wanted to even highlight my mother because, even though I have a beautiful family, we went through a very rough patch where my mother and father separated, and my dad stayed here in the Philippines, and my mother and my younger brother and we went back to the States. And we started from literally nothing there because it was a very difficult transition for my mom because going from being a housewife to now having to work, she worked 3 jobs, and then even during high school, I remember she would come back so tired. And I didn't know at the time, but she had cancer. She had breast cancer. And she never wanted us to bear that burden. She would just come home. We knew that she was tired. Like you could feel it in her bones. And then she would just look at us and be like, look at us while we were studying. And she would just say, Kaya mo na, kaya mo.
Mm.
Can do it. And so it's like our mother during that transitionary period, that difficult time for our family, she was our rock, no po po. And feeling that kind of sense of, education is the only way for us. Education, you have to honor the sacrifices of your mom, of your
Mhm.
family, and you have to succeed. So because of her, my younger brother and we actually both earned full ride scholarships to 2 U.S. universities. So it's like it's over 2 million pesos worth of scholarships each just for tuition, not even including the
Wow,
lodging, the food,
So you're
and
very.
then
Mhm,
that was
it was
great.
really,
mhm.
yeah, and it's
So,
because of my mom's sacrifice. And
yeah. So
Oh,
how's your mom? How's your mom now?
mhm.
she's in remission. She's doing very well. She's healthy. So I'm grateful to God that she's still
Oh,
in my
praise
life.
So
God.
she's already
So,
cancer free.
yes, praise
Yes.
the
Wow,
Lord.
thank you, Lord. Thank you,
God,
Yeah.
Lord. You
oh,
know, now I
Right.
know. Now I know why she's like that.
mhm.
She has really that heart to help
To help.
because of things that she experienced in life. Yun
Experience.
yung maganda eh. Talagang
May hugot talaga,
wow.
no? Oo.
Oo. Grabe, naiyak ako doon ah.
Ako din.
Sorry, sorry.
Grabe sobra.
Sorry. I'm trying not to kasi
Hindi kasi
my
'di ba,
eyelashes go.
just imagine na lang 'di ba? Oo.
No,
Right.
it's because look at her. She doesn't even have a trace of all those sacrifices that she has gone through, diba?
Mhm.
Because she's so beautiful. But, deep
Mhm.
inside, there's already something in her that she that brought her to become one person that is true to her word, and even in her advocacies, right? So
Yes.
Yes.
They have
I
to
really
be
admire
very
you. I really admire
strong.
you, Maricris, because
Yeah,
you
we
really
super
speak
admire
out
you.
of your heart and your mind, and even you don't just say it from your lips, but it comes always from your
From the
heart.
heart.
Yes, that's
The
so
heart.
important. That's very, very important. And that's why it's no longer a question for us, because there's a lot of pageant and women who just practice you they just practices after when they won, but now you already experience it. That's why you can speak it up,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
totoo po.
So, Joe, next question.
Natutulala ako.
Yeah,
So,
Natutulala
ikaw.
rin ako. Kasi naisip
because you're someone who has a very generous heart. What is it that you have? What is the most precious gift that you have given someone? For you, what is the most precious gift
precious.
that you have given someone?
I think the most precious gift I've ever given anyone is the confidence to believe in themselves. Whether I was in Africa working with, young girls struggling with teen pregnancy or, struggling with poverty, giving them the courage to believe in themselves that their situation is not permanent, that God is going to take them somewhere. Even when I was serving in a disaster zone in Nepal, being there to pray with people, telling them about how the ground shaking will stop.
Mhm.
This is going to pass. This too shall pass. I think that's one of the most powerful things that I think God has taught me about, being a vessel of love literally means just reminding someone that even though things are not okay right now, it's going to be okay. And, in the midst of a pandemic, even, like this, just being able to reach across, I encourage everyone watching to reach across, even online, to someone who might be living alone, or to someone who might be having a hard time. Be that light, be that love for
Right.
them. And it's one of the most powerful things you can give. And it's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means everything.
Yeah. Yun.
Right. Thank you. I love
Galing.
your
Oo.
answer.
Oo.
Bravo,
I could feel
bravo.
your sincerity. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Parang I want to give the crown
Okay.
already.
I choose Mr. John.
Ako talaga lagi ang final.
Parang natatakot siya dyan. May ganon.
Oo.
Are you scared
Ready?
of me? I don't think that she's scared of me,
Oo.
because I love her. I really
Di
love
ba?
her.
Oo.
I just wanted to put the crown already on her. Okay.
Correct.
So this is my questions. What would you say is the biggest problem facing our educational system today, and why? Why? Especially now, because
Of
we
the
the
situation.
classes or the school now are going online classes. So what do you think, and what can you suggest so that our students, like our youth, our young generation, would be able to adopt the new system of the new normal?
Absolutely. So I'm privileged to know about some programs that the government's providing. There are scholarships being accepted up till July 30th for medical professionals or aspiring assistants through select schools. And then there are also programs online that are free that are leading to more vocational practices. So like technical jobs, like being a mechanic, being a plumber, being someone who can work with their hands is a very honorable job, and it's a way to have an income even during a pandemic to be able to work. So I love that that is one of the aspects of our government that they're providing right now. Unfortunately, one of the problems of today is that we don't really value our workforce that well. As a culture, we undermine people who work with their hands. We look down on people who don't have a high school education or even a college education because not everyone can afford it. But those things do not make you less of a person. Every person has one vote. Every person has their equal rights. We're all equal in the eyes of God. And I think one of the biggest problems in today's society is that kind of stigma, when there should be a lot of acceptance and there should be a lot of push for more vocational training so that we can have sustainable families who have a good source of income to provide for their families and their needs. And I'd love to see that shift take place, and I'd love to help with our government in promoting that and our communities. So,
Perfect.
Perfect.
Actually, that's the problem now because the blue collar job, especially in other places, in other countries,
Other
they
countries.
they are the highest paying job. While in the
yes,
Philippines, those basureros, those
Dito
um,
baliktad.
yung carpintero, they're the less people that they've been being paid.
it's
That's
not
the
right.
problem. So,
Mhm.
It's
but
not.
they're the ones abroad are who gets the high salary.
Especially coming from Pampanga on my mother's side, we have a lot of good carpenters who do beautiful work, especially
Yes,
my
yeah.
grandmother and my mother's side's hometown.
And we
Oh,
underestimate
so
them
sad.
because
Yeah,
we always give
sometimes.
high regards to those who are in a white collar job.
Here is the final question.
Okay. Okay.
No, yeah, I know these questions already asked so many times, and I could say this is one of the famous question that been asked to a lot of pageants. But I just wanted to hear it from you. What for you is the essence of being a woman?
I think at the core, the essence of being a woman is being someone who loves, someone who eternally gives of herself and receives that love from others. It's this kind of giving and taking, and the essence of a woman gives life. It gives birth to children, it gives birth to new days to come, future generations. The essence of a woman, because of that, I truly believe is love, and that we, each of us, have that inherent power to give love in a way that is powerful, long lasting, and sustainable.
Wow.
Long lasting and
Grabe.
sustainable.
Speechless ka
And the
na.
last question goes to Joe Tixon. What is a session of a mother?
On that, gabi ni Maricres ngayon. Maricres, parang you know what I admire about you? Parang it's obvious the way you answer the question. Ano siya galing. Kasi yung iba, parang, di naman sa parang nagpapanggap that they're nice, but they're not really nice. Yung gano'n. Tapos, nakahalata yan eh, di ba? Kasi totoo,
Yeah.
nakahalata mo kasi sa
Yeah.
question and answer yan.
Hindi,
Na
actually,
na
kasi
hindi
siya,
naman totoo.
marami siyang naranasan. And
Marami, oo.
yung experience niya brought her to reality.
Reality.
Samantalang
madaling,
yung iba,
Mhm.
puro pa front lang. Alam mo yon,
Correct, oo.
Mhm.
diba? Kasi naman bilib tayo dahil totoo naman talaga
Totoo
siya.
naman talaga.
Oo nga. Saka, wala silang magalit kasi hindi naman tayo, wala naman kahit isa sa atin ng judge. So,
Wish ko maging
Nataloka
judge.
ka. Judge. Oo.
Dahil ipapanalo ko siya.
Oo. Kung ako check na kaagad. Check na kaagad. Oo.
101%
alam niyo
na.
ba kung while looking at her patagal ng patagal, she reminds me of, I'm sure, I don't know if she knows her pa kasi bata siya di ba? Naalala ko sa kanya si Joyce Jimenez. Yung mukha.
Oo nga.
Wow! Joyce
So,
Jimenez.
Joyce
Hey.
Jimenez.
How
Really?
tall
Do
are
you
you,
know Joyce
Maricres?
Jimenez?
How tall are you?
5'8". I'm 5'8".
Oh my
Wow, she's
God.
tall. Can you model for us? Maricres, now it's your time. So because you're being a host, and I want you to ask question to Miss Jo.
Yan, sige.
Yan. Diba?
Let's do that.
Marcus, be nice ha.
And do also sa beauty queen.
Of course. Oh my gosh.
Go, go.
Miss Jo, what makes you blush?
Yeah, thank you for your wonderful question. No, di ba? No, I think I blush because of happiness and contentment. You know how especially during this time of pandemic when this happened, yung suddenly you realize that the simple things pala that you have are the most important. So parang ano na, yung nasa loob yung happiness kasi before, to be honest, I would pray for so much more. I mean, I would be a hypocrite. Syempre, I wanted more money, I wanted more material things, you know. Some of it, of course, hindi naman para sa akin, but I have children, I want to give them the most comfortable lives, di ba? That I can give. Kaya lang, because of this pandemic, parang blessing na yung every day that you wake up. Yung every day na magising ka and yung meron kang nakakain, yung napaka-komportable ng bahay mo, buhay mo. Yun. So, yun, that makes me blush and I'm very thankful to the Lord because all of us are healthy. Ayan. And
Wow!
Wow, naiyak ako din!
Ganda naman!
Galing!
Siguro message na lang, Maricres, sa ating mga kaganap.
I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for this opportunity. I know it's such a special thing to be able to meet online and on your beloved show. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Paul. It's really an honor. And I just also want to shout out to Miss Cindy for connecting us, and to the Lossophile Shop, the Lasso Shop on Facebook, for these marine conservation earrings that protect our sea turtles and marine life right here in the Philippines. I also have mask by them that's reusable, so super bagay and definitely reusable. And I just want to encourage all our ganaps, Popo, that everything counts, every act of kindness counts, even though we're in the midst of a pandemic and there is a lot of things going on. It feels like it's so big, the problems are so big, but but Mother Teresa once said, kahit there's over 100 people who are hungry and you can only feed one person, feed one person. Do that one good thing. That life still counts. Your life still counts for something great. And added up together, each drop of kindness will commit to an ocean of change for our world during our lifetime. I believe in that. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak and to just talk about spreading kindness, joy, and love, even in the midst of pandemic. So thank you po.
Thank you so much, Maricres. Sobrang maraming touch na naman na mga kaganap sa base sa mga sinabi mo, sa message mo sa kanila. Sobrang thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ito na ang product.
So,
So dahil ang ating guest ay napakabait. So we have our kind hand.
yes.
Kita ba?
Bagay sa
Ayan.
kanya.
Bagay sa kanya, very kind.
Very
Ayan.
kind.
Oh.
I love it.
Ito ang soap. Liquid
Organic
soap.
siya.
From Kindly. Organic siya. And all the soap. So maraming salamat sa sponsor natin ng Kind Hand. So, pag nakita tayo, Maricres, you will have one. Diba?
Oh my gosh, perfect.
Yeah. If you want to buy their products,
Yes.
kindly message us page, fan page, and nandun yung mga iba-ibang products nila.
Yes. I'm gonna launch my lipstick line also with them. John Gornes lipstick. Okay.
Ang galing.
Maricres and I will be the models of your lips.
Yes.
Yes. And for Miss Universe Philippines, we're starting our first pay-per-view series, a ring light series that illuminates what it takes to become a queen. And by buying your pay-per-view subscription, you are also directly donating to a queen's beneficiary. Use my code RL Muntinlupa to directly benefit my sponsor child, John Paul Sweet Little PJ Kasakaho of the Chosen Children's Foundation Village. They're sponsoring wonderful children who are disabled and abandoned, and this is just a wonderful time for us to come together during a pandemic to help a little one. So Check out what it takes to become a queen and help our community at the same time by using my code RL Muntinlupa with your purchase. God bless.
Sa Ganap TV,
Kayo ang bida.
bida. Thank you so much.